In the gleaming towers of corporate power, where ambition casts long shadows and fortunes are made and lost with a single stroke, secrets fester like unseen cracks. Chloe, the forgotten heiress, walked into Althea Corp bustling cafeteria not for a paycheck, but for justice. She was a ghost, a whisper, a weapon. But what happens when the man she's sent to expose becomes the man she can't live without? Get ready for a corporate thriller where love and betrayal collide, and nothing is as it seems. This is the story of a mission, a deception, and a love that defied all odds. The city hummed below Chloe's apartment, a symphony of ambition and relentless progress. But within her, a different kind of hum resonated, a low thrum of indignation and a fierce sense of duty. Her father, Arthur Vance, had built Althea Corp from a garage startup into a global tech titan, a beacon of innovation and integrity. His sudden, tragic passing 5 years ago had left a gaping void, not just in her life, but in the very soul of the company. Now that soul was under siege. They're bleeding it dry. Chloe, Mr. Henderson, a longtime board member and her father's most trusted confidant, had stated, his voice tight with barely suppressed fury during their clandestine meeting. Mr. Harrison, the CEO, he's a wolf in sheep's clothing. We suspect massive embezzlement, siphoning off funds through shell corporations, inflating project costs. But he's meticulous. We can't find the smoking gun. Chloe, despite her sharp intellect and a degree in forensic accounting, had always shied away from the corporate spotlight. She preferred the quiet precision of data analysis, far removed from the cutthroat world her father had mastered. But Althea Corp was her legacy, her father's dream. She couldn't stand by and watch it crumble. We need someone on the inside, another board member, Ms. Davies, had added, her gaze fixed on Chloe. Someone Harrison wouldn't suspect. Someone invisible. Chloe had felt a chill, then a spark of resolve. Invisible. She, the founder's daughter, the quiet heiress, would become just that, a ghost in the machine. Her transformation was swift and deliberate. Gone were the tailored blazers and designer jeans. In their place, a crisp, if slightly ill-fitting, white uniform, sensible non-slip shoes, and a name tag that read Chloe Vance. She spent weeks learning the rhythm of a high-volume kitchen, the clatter of plates, the sizzle of grills, the precise art of balancing a tray laden with steaming food. She studied the corporate hierarchy, the cafeteria's busiest hours, the preferred lunch spots of key executives. She learned to blend, to observe without being seen, to listen without seeming to listen. Her new identity was her shield, her mission, her driving force. On her first day, the sheer scale of Althea Corp's headquarters was overwhelming. The lobby was a cathedral of glass and steel, echoing with the purposeful stride of hundreds of employees. The corporate cafeteria, a vast open-plan space on the 15th floor, was a microcosm of the company itself, a vibrant, sometimes chaotic, ecosystem. As she pushed a heavy cart laden with fresh fruit, the aroma of gourmet coffee and sizzling pastries filled the air. She felt a profound sense of displacement, a stranger in her own inherited kingdom. But beneath the plain uniform, her mind was already at work, scanning, analyzing, searching for the first crack in the facade. The initial days were a blur of steam, clattering dishes, and polite, often distant interactions. Chloe quickly mastered the art of being just the waitress. She learned the regulars' orders, the unspoken rules of the lunch rush, the subtle power dynamics playing out over lukewarm coffee. She observed the executives, the loud, boisterous ones, the quiet, intense ones, the ones who treated staff with disdain, and the rare few who offered a genuine smile. She started noticing patterns, the same faces always sitting together, the hushed conversations, the discarded napkins with scribbled notes. Every detail was a potential piece of the puzzle. Her investigation began subtly. While clearing tables, she'd discreetly scan discarded documents, looking for company names, project codes, anything unusual. She paid close attention to supply orders for the cafeteria itself, a small but often overlooked avenue for minor embezzlement, hoping it might lead to larger schemes. The numbers were always inflated, but nothing significant enough to be Harrison's main game. This was just petty cash compared to what he was suspected of. Then, she met Jason Evans. He was different. A senior executive, impeccably dressed but without the usual corporate arrogance. Their first encounter was unremarkable. He ordered the daily special, a salmon salad. But as she handed him his plate, he met her gaze, a genuine warmth in his eyes. "Thank you, Chloe," he said, reading her name tag, a small, polite smile playing on his lips. "Looks delicious." It was a small gesture, but in the impersonal bustle of the cafeteria, it stood out. Most executives barely made eye contact. He remembered her name. The next day, he sought her out again, asking about her day, a simple human connection in a world that often felt cold and transactional. Their interactions became a quiet ritual. Jason would often wait until the lunch rush subsided, finding a table where Chloe was cleaning, striking up a conversation. He spoke of his work, his passion for sustainable tech, his frustrations with corporate bureaucracy. He listened when she, carefully, vaguely spoke of her previous job in data entry and her aspirations. Chloe found herself drawn to his intelligence, his kindness, his unwavering optimism. He seemed so utterly out of place in the cutthroat environment she was investigating, a beacon of integrity. Her internal conflict began to simmer. She was falling for him slowly, irrevocably. His presence became a highlight in her otherwise monotonous undercover life. His genuine interest, his easy laugh, the way his eyes crinkled when he smiled, it chipped away at her carefully constructed defenses. But he was an executive, part of the very system she was meant to expose. Was he too good to be true? Could this charming man be involved in the very corruption she was fighting? The thought was a bitter pill, one she desperately tried to avoid swallowing. Chloe intensified her investigation. She started taking late-night shifts, posing as part of the cleaning crew. This gave her access to offices, discarded documents, and a quieter environment for observation. She found a suspicious invoice for Advanced Logistics Solutions, a company she couldn't find any public records for, linked to a major project Jason was overseeing, the Project Chimera initiative, a high-profile AI development. Her heart sank. She started observing Jason more closely. He seemed stressed, often working late, his office light burning long after everyone else had left. She saw him having hushed, intense conversations with Mr. Harrison in secluded corners of the executive lounge. Harrison, a man whose smile never quite reached his eyes, always seemed to be leaning in, whispering. Jason often looked troubled after these exchanges, his usual optimistic demeanor replaced by a furrowed brow. Back in her apartment, surrounded by financial spreadsheets and corporate reports, Chloe pieced together fragments of information. The Advanced Logistics Solutions invoice, combined with an unusual spike in Project Chimera's budget, created a chilling picture. She found encrypted files on a shared network drive, accessible only to a select few, including Jason. These files, though unreadable to her, were labeled with codes that seemed to correlate with the suspicious transactions. The evidence, circumstantial as it was, began to coalesce, pointing a damning finger directly at Jason. Her heart screamed in denial, but her analytical mind, honed by her father, couldn't ignore the facts. She spent sleepless nights wrestling with the betrayal. How could the man who showed her such kindness, who seemed so genuinely good, be involved in such a scheme? Was his charm a carefully crafted mask? The weight of her mission, now entangled with her burgeoning feelings, became almost unbearable. Guilt gnawed at her, guilt for suspecting him, guilt for deceiving him. One night, while trying to access an executive floor after hours, she narrowly avoided being caught by a roving security guard. The close call heightened the tension, reminding her of the very real danger of her mission and the potential consequences if her cover was blown. She was playing a dangerous game, and her emotions were making her vulnerable. Chloe knew she couldn't continue in this agonizing limbo. She needed to know the truth, even if it shattered her. She tried to probe Jason during their lunch conversations subtly. "Project Chimera seems to be expanding rapidly," she'd remark casually. Must be a lot of moving parts, especially with external partners. Jason's usual openness faltered. He'd become evasive, his answers vague, his gaze flickering away. It's complex, he'd say, a lot of proprietary information. His guardedness only fueled her suspicions. Desperate, Chloe decided on a risky maneuver. She created a small, encrypted USB drive containing a dummy file, designed to trigger a silent notification if accessed. During a late-night cleaning shift with trembling hands, she slipped it into a discreet slot in Jason's office desk, hidden beneath a stack of technical manuals. Her hope was that if he was involved in illicit activities, he might try to access it, revealing his hand. The next few days were excruciating. She watched Jason, every interaction a fresh agony. Then one evening, as the office emptied, she saw him. He wasn't accessing the dummy file. Instead, he was hunched over his computer, his face illuminated by the screen, a look of intense concentration etched on his features. He wasn't working on Project Chimera's budget or the suspicious invoices. He was accessing different, highly secure files, cross-referencing data, and building complex flowcharts. Chloe, hidden in a utility closet, watched, her heart pounding. She recognized the interface. It was a sophisticated internal auditing tool, one designed to track financial discrepancies and uncover hidden transactions. He was doing exactly what she was doing. He was investigating. A wave of profound relief washed over her, so potent it almost brought her to her knees. He wasn't the embezzler. He was a white knight, fighting the same battle. The Advanced Logistics Solutions invoice, the inflated budget for Project Chimera, he wasn't using them to embezzle. He was using them as breadcrumbs, tracing Harrison's illicit funds, and playing along to get closer to the source of the corruption. He had been playing a dangerous double game, just like her. The realization brought a fresh wave of emotions, relief, overwhelming joy, and then a new, complicated worry. She had suspected him and judged him, even while falling for him. How could she ever reveal her true identity and the depth of her initial mistrust? They were both undercover, both fighting for Althea Corp, both hiding behind carefully constructed facades. The irony was almost unbearable. They were allies, unknowingly, and she had almost destroyed their nascent connection with her suspicions. Chloe, now armed with the knowledge of Jason's true intentions, began to subtly assist him. She'd leave anonymous tips, a specific document number, a time-stamped observation of Harrison's movements, a seemingly innocuous detail about a cafeteria, supply delivery that, to an investigator, would open a new line of inquiry. Jason, initially perplexed by the ghost helping him, started to follow these leads, his progress accelerating. He suspected an ally, but couldn't fathom who. Their combined unwitting efforts began to paint a clearer, far more disturbing picture. Harrison's embezzlement was just the tip of the iceberg. The funds weren't just being siphoned off for personal gain. They were being funneled into a complex network of offshore accounts. But the final destination wasn't Harrison's. Then came the second twist. The real mastermind wasn't Harrison. He was a pawn, a puppet. The true architect of Althea Corp's downfall was Evelyn Reed, a seemingly benevolent, highly respected board member, known for her sharp business acumen and philanthropic endeavors. She had been manipulating Harrison, using his past financial indiscretions as leverage, blackmailing him into orchestrating the embezzlement. But the money wasn't the primary goal. It was a smokescreen. Evelyn's true objective was far more sinister. The sale of Althea Corp's proprietary AI technology, Project Chimera, to a foreign competitor. The embezzlement was designed to destabilize the company, make it appear vulnerable, and create a financial crisis that would justify a strategic partnership with the foreign entity, effectively selling off the company's crown jewel. The stakes were no longer just about money. They were about industrial espionage, national security, and the very future of Althea Corp's innovation. The realization hit Chloe like a physical blow. Her father's legacy wasn't just being stolen, it was being sold off, piece by precious piece. The urgency became palpable. It was during a late-night rendezvous, both of them independently trying to access a secure server room, that their paths finally converged. They startled each other, both masked by the shadows, until Jason, recognizing Chloe's silhouette, whispered, "Chloe, what are you doing here?" Chloe, her heart pounding, knew this was the moment. "I could ask you the same, Mr. Evans," she replied, her voice barely a whisper. She stepped into the dim light and slowly, deliberately, removed her waitress uniform jacket, revealing the elegant, determined woman beneath. "My name isn't just Chloe Vance. It's Chloe Vance, daughter of Arthur Vance. And I'm here to save my father's company." Jason's eyes widened in shock, then a slow, understanding smile spread across his face. "Arthur Vance's daughter," he breathed. "I should have known. You have his fire." He then extended his hand. "Jason Evans, Senior VP of Strategic Development. And I've been trying to expose Harrison for months." The truth, once revealed, was a torrent of relief and deeper trust. They spent the rest of the night, and many nights after, working in tandem. Chloe, with her waitress access, could gather physical evidence, keycards, discarded notes, even planting a hidden camera in Evelyn's private office. Jason, with his executive privileges, could access digital trails, encrypted communications, and secure financial records. Their combined efforts were formidable. The deception that had brought them together now forged an unbreakable bond. The love that had sparked amid suspicion now burned brighter, fueled by a shared purpose and mutual respect. The stage was set, the quarterly board meeting. Evelyn Reed, poised and confident, began her presentation on strategic partnerships to stabilize Althea Corp's future. Harrison sat beside her, a shadow of his former arrogant self. Just as Evelyn was about to propose the partnership that would effectively sell off Project Chimera, the boardroom doors opened. Chloe, no longer the invisible waitress, walked in, impeccably dressed in a sharp, confident suit, her head held high. Jason, standing by her side, offered a reassuring squeeze to her hand. The board members gasped. Evelyn's composure faltered, a flicker of surprise, then cold fury in her eyes. "Ms. Reed," Chloe stated, her voice clear and resonant, "I believe there are a few details you've omitted from your presentation." What followed was a dramatic, meticulously orchestrated presentation of evidence. Chloe and Jason, working seamlessly, together, laid bare Evelyn Reed's intricate web of deceit. The shell companies, the blackmail of Harrison, the true intent behind the strategic partnership. They played audio recordings, displayed encrypted messages, and even showed a brief, damning video clip from Chloe's hidden camera, capturing Evelyn discussing the sale of Althea Corp's AI technology to a foreign entity. Harrison, cornered and facing ruin, finally broke. He confessed, detailing Evelyn's blackmail, his fear, and his unwilling participation. He provided crucial corroborating evidence, implicating Evelyn beyond a shadow of a doubt. Evelyn Reed was arrested on the spot, her reign of corporate terror brought to an abrupt end. Harrison, though facing severe consequences, was granted a reduced sentence for his cooperation. Althea Corp, bruised but not broken, was saved. In the aftermath, the board, deeply impressed by Chloe's courage and ingenuity and Jason's unwavering integrity, offered Chloe a seat on the board, a rightful return to her father's legacy. Jason, his name cleared and his reputation solidified, was promoted to Chief Innovation Officer, tasked with steering Project Chimera and other initiatives towards ethical and groundbreaking success. Their love story, forged in deception and danger, blossomed in the open. Chloe, no longer a waitress but a powerful force for good within Althea Corp, found her true calling. Jason, her partner in crime fighting and in life, stood by her side, their bond strengthened by the trials they had faced. They had saved a company, exposed a conspiracy, and found an unexpected, profound love. Months later, Althea Corp thrived under new ethical leadership. Project Chimera was flourishing, its innovations benefiting humanity, not corporate greed. Chloe and Jason often found themselves on the rooftop garden, overlooking the city, a quiet moment amidst their busy lives. "Remember that first day?" Chloe mused, leaning her head on Jason's shoulder. "I thought you were just another arrogant executive, probably part of the problem." A soft laugh escaped her lips. Jason chuckled, tightening his grip on her hand. "And I thought you were the most intriguing waitress I'd ever met. So quiet, but with eyes that held a universe of secrets. I kept trying to figure out what you were really thinking." He paused, a playful glint in his eyes. "Though I admit the uniform was a good disguise. Almost too good." "It was effective," Chloe retorted, a smile playing on her lips. Who would suspect the founder's daughter was serving up lukewarm coffee? They fell into a comfortable silence, the city lights beginning to twinkle below them, mirroring the stars above. The journey had been fraught with peril, deception, and the constant threat of exposure. They had risked everything, their careers, their reputations, even their freedom, to save Althea Corp. And in doing so, they had found each other. "It's strange," Jason said, breaking the silence. "We were both fighting the same battle, but completely alone. Two lone wolves, circling the same prey, only to find we were on the same side all along." "It makes you wonder," Chloe added, "how many other battles are being fought in isolation, when collaboration could be the key." She turned to face him, her eyes shining with warmth and affection. "I'm glad we found each other, Jason. I couldn't have done it without you." "Nor I, you, my secret heiress," he replied, gently cupping her face and leaning in for a tender kiss. The city stretched out before them, a testament to human ambition and resilience. Althea Corp, once teetering on the brink of ruin, was now a symbol of integrity and innovation, a legacy restored. And at its heart, two people, bound by a shared purpose and an unexpected, profound love, ready to face whatever the future held, together. The quiet hum of the city below now felt like a harmonious melody, a soundtrack to their happy ending. From a simple waitress uniform to the highest echelons of corporate power, Chloe's journey was a breathtaking dance between duty and desire. She risked everything to expose a conspiracy, only to find love in the most unexpected place, with the very man she initially suspected. This wasn't just a story about embezzlement. It was about the hidden battles we fight, the masks we wear, and the incredible power of truth to set us free. Did you see the twist coming? What would you have done if you were in Chloe's shoes, torn between your mission and your heart? Let us know in the comments below. If you were captivated by this tale of corporate intrigue, hidden identities, and a love that defied all odds, don't forget to like this video, share it with your friends, and subscribe for more incredible stories that will keep you on the edge of your seat. Until next time, remember, sometimes the most ordinary encounters hide the most extraordinary secrets. Thanks for watching.